Shivaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome, dear devotees. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter number 4, The Process of Creation. Today we are starting from text number 11, Sutta Uvacha. Sushila Mataji, you want to recite Sanskrit and English translation?
Yeah, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.11 Sutta Vacha Ityupamantrito Ragya Gunano Kathane Hare Hrishikesha Manusmritya Prativaktum Prachakrame. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sutta Goswami said, when Sukadeva Goswami was thus requested by the king to describe the creative energy of the personality of Godhead, he then systematically remembered the master of the senses, Sri Krishna, and to reply properly, he spoke thus. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So here, Sutta Goswami is speaking, and he is saying that when Sukadeva Goswami was requested by King Parikshit Maharaj to describe, he then systematically remembered the master of senses. He then remembered systematically. अभी यहाँ पे बोलता गया है कि he then remembered. किसने remember किया कृष्णा को systematically? Who can unmute and say?
Shukadev.
Very good. Sukadeva Goswami systematically remembered Sri Krishna. And to reply properly, किसको reply करना था?
Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit Maharaj. Very good. So, just to be having the context or the flow of this verse, that we see that how this chapter begins of Srimad Bhagavatam, this fourth chapter, that after hearing from Sukadeva Goswami, जो chapter number 1, 2 or 3 में बताया गया था, when Parikshit Maharaj heard this, he was able to completely absorb in Krishna. His mind on Krishna, his attention fully fixed on Krishna, and on top of that, it was mentioned that he was able to detach fully from the family, wife, children, palace, animals, horses, elephants were mentioned, kingdom, everything. He was able to detach from everything, and he was able to fully absorb and fix his mind on Krishna. Then Parikshit Maharaj further asked to Sukadeva Goswami that until now you have mentioned the glories about hearing, Shravanam and Kirtanam, you have mentioned the importance of hearing. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking, I want to hear about how Lord created this universe. We saw yesterday that Parikshit Maharaj was asking to Sukadeva Goswami, I want to hear that how Lord created this universe, how he maintains and how he destroys this universe. Specifically, the pastimes in relation to Lord's external energy. We also saw yesterday what is the purpose of understanding creation. I know very, very well, and I can share my personal experience also. जब कथा आती है, pastimes आते हैं, भगवान की लीला आती है, हमें बहुत अच्छा लगता है. लेकिन जब क्रिएशन आता है, क्षीरोदक्षाय विष्णु, कारणोदक्षाय विष्णु, गर्भोदक्षाय विष्णु, Lord appeared and Brahma appears from the navel with the lotus stem and three modes of material nature, pradhan and everything. अच्छा नहीं लगता. I know एक बार मैं I was trying very hard, to make the class bit interesting, and I had to explain all about this creation and three Vishnus and everything. 40 minutes I spoke, and I spent more than 10 hours to make the session bit more interesting with personal examples or some analogy or some stories, and try to have light because the topic was very heavy. And after the session, इतना मेहनत करने के बाद मुझे लगा कि चलो थोड़ा एटलीस्ट people would have understood. And one person calls just 5 minutes after the session and says, प्रभु जी बहुत ही बोरिंग था सेशन, कुछ पता नहीं चलता, बहुत ही हैवी था. And I understand, the creation, but we saw yesterday why it is important to know about this creation aspect of the Lord. The purpose is because we understand how great Lord is. He is the creator of everything in this creation. We develop awe and reverence. Our brain hota hai apna, it has a limited potential to understand, but how vast the creation is, how great the Lord is, and also what is the purpose of creation. ये जो दुनिया बनाई है, the creation Lord has done, what is the reason? That is, needs to be understood. And that's why the process of creation is important. So here we see Parikshit Maharaj is further asking to Sukdev Goswami and want to hear more. So Bhagavatam not only glorifies the Lord, Bhagavatam में भगवान के गुणगान बताए गए हैं. Not only glorifying the Lord, but Bhagavatam also gives us the importance of glorification of the Lord. So Bhagavatam is glorifying the glorification of the Lord. भगवान के बारे में गुणगान भागवतम में है, उनके कीर्ति यश के बारे में गुणगान है. बट what is the benefit of doing? गुणगान के बारे में गुणगान करने का भगवान का, the glorification of the Lord, that is also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, which we saw yesterday. Because of that, our mind can be fixed. Because of that, we can be detached from this material things. So यहाँ पे two words which is mentioned here in this context. If you see, when Parikshit Maharaj asked to Sukdev Goswami, two things were made. Prati Vaktum Prachakrame. The last line of translation, if you see, Prati Vaktum Prachakrame. Prati Vaktum means to reply. Before replying, Prati Vaktum, just to reply, Prachakrame means he executed the preliminaries. The Bhagavatam speaker, we see devotees, when we start devotees speaking Srimad Bhagavatam in the temple or anywhere Katha is happening, before they speak about the Lord, his pastimes, giving a talk on the scriptures or shastras, they do prayers. Sometimes the prayers are very long, Mangalacharan prayers, invocation prayers, that invokes the auspiciousness. So here, Sukdev Goswami, before he started responding to Parikshit Maharaj, he is doing the prayers now. It seems कि परीक्षित महाराज ने तो कैंटो 2 शुरू, क्वेश्चंस कैंटो 1 के एंड में 4 क्वेश्चन पूछे थे. कैंटो 2 शुरू हो गया चैप्टर नंबर 1 से, एंड ही स्ट्रेट अवे आंसर्ड परीक्षित महाराज क्वेश्चन. प्रेयर्स तो किया ही नहीं. We see in the Sutta Goswami, he offered his Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottaram Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiret. Sutta Goswami offered the prayers and start responding then. But here, Sukdev Goswami, it seems that he forgot to do prayers. Chapter number 1, 2, 3, Parikshit Maharaj के इतने सारे examples दे दिए, answers दे दिए, and it seems he forgot to do prayers. And now in chapter number 4, half the way, he remembers that prayers karna tha. So he starts offering. So from this verse 11 12 से लेके end of the chapter, it's all prayers of Sukdev Goswami. So one important thing to understand here, it's Sukdev Goswami is learned, transcendental, is great solar, pure devotee. It's not that he forgot to do prayers. फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड में सब कुछ बता दिया, आंसर दे दिया और फिर जाके प्रेयर शुरू कर दिया. इट वाज द टाइम, द सिचुएशन, द सर्कमस्टेंसेस वाज सच. Parikshit Maharaj, the king of the whole world, decided to fast till death, sitting on the bank of river Ganges, asked the 4 questions, and all the sages, all the learned saints, and everyone from all around the universe, all around the world, they were assembled. और उस टाइम पे the situation was like that just to grab everyone interest and to straight come to the point, Sukdev Goswami is giving the answers to Parikshit Maharaj. Now when everyone is settled, sab log baith gaye hain, it's the mood is set, the question answer has happened, and now further questions when Parikshit Maharaj is asking, Sukdev Goswami is starting with offering the prayers. We see many times, in especially I can tell about myself, we in my business we have a meditation room, and we have a big hall as well on the top floor of my shop, and we used to do many sessions with many disciples of Srila Prabhupada and many brahmacharis as well, regular, and that was for Westerners, white body, Australian peoples or people who are Western culture. And when these devotees come, we do the sessions, Bhagavad Gita or some mindfulness or some kind of topic. Maharaj or the devotees, they just start speaking. In the temple, when they start speaking, they start Om Jnana Timirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya, and then sometimes the prayers itself goes for 15 minutes. But that is a different setting. But for Western culture, or for example, Western body people, when Maharaj is speaking, if he starts 15 to 20 minutes or invocation prayers and Mangalacharan, unko lagega ye kya ho raha hai, ye kya bol raha hai, they wouldn't be able to relate. But instead, they just start with some interesting stories, some facts, some numbers, figures, or what is happening in the world, and then they start just to grab everyone's attention. And here we see, the depending on the situation or the circumstances, Sukhdev Goswami started answering, and now he is doing the invocation prayers. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions the living entity has 4 defects. Conditioned soul has 4 defects. We have discussed that in Bhakti Vriksha, and you would have discussed in Bendigo as well. MISC, MISC, that's how we remember. M, to commit mistakes. All living entity, conditioned soul, they commit mistakes. सबसे भूल होता है, भूल हो जाती है. भगवान से भूल नहीं होती, इंसान से तो भूल हो जाती है. M is to commit mistakes. I is to be illusioned. The person or a conditioned soul, living entity, is illusioned in this material world. S for imperfect senses. हमारे जो senses है, they are imperfect. We can't see. If I am seeing from this wall, I can't see behind this wall. Certainly, if there is a dark, I can't see my own hand also. There are certain sound waves. We can't hear beyond that or below that. So all these colors, frequency, we can't see beyond or above that. So our senses are limited. We are illusioned. We can commit mistakes. And the 4th one is cheating propensity, MISC. C is cheating propensity. All living and conditioned soul, there is a cheating propensity to cheat others. So when a living entity or a conditioned soul is affected by these 4 defects, what happens when a person does invocation prayers? When person offers while speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, or when he have to give presentation, he or she is giving presentation about the scriptures, devotee makes it very clear that I am not speaking, I am not independently doing anything, completely relying on Lord's mercy. Invocation means invoking the auspiciousness, invoking, praying for Lord's mercy and blessings, and utilizing this body in the service of Krishna. भगवान ने जो हमें शरीर दिया है, जो इंद्रिया दी है, the senses, we are utilizing that in the service of Lord Krishna by His mercy and by His blessings as well. And that is what invocation prayers means. And here we see it will start from now. लोगों को लगता है कि we are, even if people think that I am the soul, then they will think I am the master of this body, I am the controller and the owner of this body. हमें ये body दिया गया, I am the controller, they think. But if we are the owner, if I, the soul, is the owner of this body, why can't I control this body? Why can't we control even one hair falling from body? If we are the controller, why can't we control even one hair falling from the body, from our head? Why can't we control the old age? Why we are forced to become old? No one wants to become old, but we are forced. So that means Krishna is the ultimate controller. Lord is the ultimate owner of that. And to utilize the senses in the service of the Lord, we need His mercy and blessings. And that's why when devotees start speaking Srimad Bhagavatam or on Katha, they start with the invocation prayers. Even in Bhakti Vriksha, Srimad Bhagavatam classes in the temple, you would have seen that people start with the prayers. And then Lord inspires to speak. Many times the speaker, or I can tell myself also, we कुछ प्लान नहीं किया, वो क्लास में वो बता देते हैं. We didn't plan, but it comes. And then the audience will say, अरे exactly what I was thinking in my mind, the confusion I had, you cleared it. ऐसा होता है, कई बार ऐसा हो जाता है that we didn't plan and we speak like that. And with me, I can tell you many times, while I am speaking, someone asks a question or some topic, some sloka comes. While I am speaking, sorry, I'm sharing my secret, what my realizations are. जब हम बताते हैं ना, I am also listening. अरे ये कहाँ से निकल रहे हैं शब्द? ये तो मुझे भी पता नहीं था. And Lord inspires to speak many times. And that's why even till today, since the first day, I am hearing this, our morning session recording, I hear every single day. Because many things, even though the speaker is speaking, but Lord inspires the persons to speak. Because depending on the audience, what is required, Lord suggests, Lord guides, and it's a mercy and the blessings. Apne balbute pe kya hai? We don't know. Kuch aata nahi hai, But Lord, and that's why, it has happened with me many times when some Mataji asks me a question and मैं आंसर दे रहा हूँ और मैं अंदर अंदर सुन भी रहा हूँ और आई एम आश्चर्य में कि अरे ये क्या मैं बोल रहा हूँ, इतना अच्छा आंसर, इतना अच्छा मेरे अंदर से निकला, कैसे, कोई आकाशवाणी बोल रही है क्या? It happens many times. Text number, let's go ahead. Someone raised a hand. Question or?
नहीं, हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, आप ये बोल रहे थे ना, आई सडनली रिमेम्बर्ड आपके रियलाइजेशन से, श्रील प्रभुपाद आल्सो यूज्ड टू से ना कि रीड माय बुक्स एवरी डे. आई आल्सो रीड माय बुक्स एवरी डे. आई डिड नॉट राइट इट.
100%, yes. Prabhupada is, pure devotee. I thought about this example. I didn't speak about that because, Prabhupada is on a different platform. लेकिन मैं तो मेरे, conditioned soul, वो MISC के जो चक्कर में फंसा पड़ा है, उसकी बात कर रहा हूँ अभी. But I understand your point. Yeah, Prabhupada said, I didn't write these books. Krishna dictated, and he is reading as well. That's correct. Thank you so much for reminding me of that beautiful pastime of Srila Prabhupada. All right, Prabhu, you only do 12.
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. श्री शुक उवाच नमः परस्मै पुरुषाय भूयसे सदुद्भवस्थान निरोध लीलया गृहीत शक्ति त्रितयाय देहिनाम् अंतर्भवायानुपलक्ष्य वर्तमने.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Translation by His Divine A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Shukdev Goswami said, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who, for the creation of the material world, accepts the three modes of nature. He is the complete whole, residing within the body of everyone, and his ways are inconceivable." Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So here, Sukdev Goswami, he starts, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto that Supreme Personality of Godhead. We'll see that his prayers continue. And at the end of this chapter, for many, many verses, he offers prayers to Lord Sri Krishna directly. And then later, at the end of the chapter, he offers prayers to his Guru as well. More specifically, here the prayers are directed because the question Parikshit Maharaj asked was about creation of the Lord, creation of this universe and maintenance, and this how Lord destroys this universe. So here, if you see the translation, he's saying, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who for the creation of this material world accepts the three modes of nature. So the prayers are specifically for what was the question asked. Main reason why Sukdev Goswami starts offering prayers right now and not before is because the question asked was about creation. And Lord is so great. The creation is so huge, gigantic. No one can understand. As a tiny, minute soul, living entity, how can a person or a soul understands this huge, gigantic creation of the Lord? So no one can understand. One can only understand by Lord's mercy. Bhaktya mam api janati yavan yachasmi tattvataha. In Bhagavad Gita it is said, one can know Lord Sri Krishna as he is only by devotional service. Bhaktya mam api janati, one can know yavan yachasmi tattvataha, as he is only by devotional service. So only by his mercy, Lord's mercy, when Lord reveals himself, then one can know him. Otherwise, on our one person's own endeavor, a person cannot know about all this, creation and everything. One can know, one can speak, one can understand only by Lord's mercy. Without that, it's not possible. So, practical application or learning point from this particular verse is not only one, as a speaker, not only a speaker depends on the Lord's mercy at the beginning of the session, the person is depending on the Lord's mercy throughout the journey, before speaking, during the session, and at the end as well. And in our devotees' life, we are depending on the Lord's mercy all the time. ऐसा नहीं कि कोई प्रोजेक्ट शुरू करने से पहले नॉर्मली पीपल डू, जैसे घर में वास्तु करते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल दे आर मूविंग इनटू ए न्यू हाउस, दे विल डू अ पूजा। एंड ऐसा नहीं कि शुरुआत करने, प्रोजेक्ट स्टार्टिंग ए न्यू वन, और समटाइम्स पीपल स्टार्टिंग अ न्यू बिजनेस और मैरिज में इतनी पूजा करते हैं बिफोर दे आर स्टार्टिंग एंटरिंग द गृहस्थ आश्रम। तो ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ शुरुआत में ही भगवान की पूजा और डिपेंडेंसी होती है। During the journey and throughout the journey, we are always depending on the Lord. And here we see that Sukdev Goswami not mentioning the prayers in the beginning, but here he is mentioning the prayers during the session to highlight that point that we are always depending on the Lord's mercy. Even if he did not mention in the beginning of the session, but he is mentioning during the session while he was speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. And at the end as well, when we in our temple or Bhakti Vriksha classes, we end with, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. That's how we end. That means the glories, all the glories to Srila Prabhupada. So starting with that Namo Om Vishnu Pada, we start with that during the session and at the end as well. We are always depending on the mercy. 13. Actually, we can do 13 and 14 together. So Mataji, you do 13 Sanskrit and translation. Krishna Prabhu, you do 14 Sanskrit, and Anu Mataji can do translation, and then we will discuss both together.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Danut pranam to all. Bhuyo namasad vrijna chiddeshatam asambhavaya khila sattva murtaye pumsam puna paramansya ashrame vyavasthitanam anumrigya dashushe. I again offer my respectful obeisances unto the form of complete existence and transcendence, who is the liberator of the pious devotees from all distresses and the destroyer of the further advance in atheistic temperament of the non-devotee demons. For the transcendentalists who are situated in the topmost spiritual perfection, he grants their specific destinations. Hare Krishna.
You see, the focus, previous verse was all about creation, how Lord, Sukdev Goswami is mentioning how, I offer my respectful obeisances who for the creation of this world. So maintain, what is the word used? Accepts the three modes of material nature. So the focus about the creation aspect of the Lord, who is so huge, gigantic, and power aspect of the Lord, this verse, the focus is about Bhakta Vatsala feature of the Lord, sweetness of the Lord, that how he protects, he's a liberator of the pious devotees. He destroys all the distresses, and he's destroying the further advancement of the atheistic temperament. So you see, from the power aspect of the Lord in previous verse, the sweetness and the protecting his devotee, that aspect suddenly, it changes. Yes, next one.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Text 14. Namo namaste tvarishabhaya satvatam vidurakaasthaya muhuku yoginam nirashta samsaya tishaya niradasa svadhamani brahmani ramsyate namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him who is the associate of the members of the Yadu dynasty and who is always a problem for the non-devotees. He is the supreme enjoyer of both the material and spiritual worlds, yet he enjoys his own abode in the spiritual sky. There is no one equal to him because his transcendental opulence is immeasurable. Hare Krishna.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So both this 13 and 14, the theme is like he is protecting the devotees and he corrects the non-devotees. So if you see the 13 translations, and he is the liberator of the pious devotees. He removes the distress and he corrects the non-devotees. Even 14 translation, it says, who is always a problem for the non-devotees. Who is always a problem for non-devotees. Very nice. Whenever we hear about protection of devotee, Lord Bhagavan अपने भक्त को बचाते हैं, protection of devotees. Whose example comes into our mind generally?
Prahlad Maharaj.
Huh?
Prahlad.
Prahlad Maharaj. You know, today we are celebrating Nrsimha Chaturdasi, very special festival. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport as well. When in the first canto we were discussing about the 21 incarnations, Leela Avtaras, when Krishna appeared, we were doing Janmashtami. And Abhi, today Nrsimha Chaturdasi, and Prabhupada mentions about Hiranyakashipu, protection of the devotee as well here. So we have the example of Prahlad Maharaj, how Lord protects and punishing demon. He's, as it is mentioned here, he's always correcting the non-devotees. His problem for non-devotees, that the example is given as Hiranyakashipu. And Prabhupada mentions that how Lord, when he punishes these demons, it's not a punishment, but it's a correction for them. So even for this, Prabhupada mentions Ravana, Hiranyakasipu, Kamsa. Lord punishes them so that they don't further commit these demoniac activities. And while punishing, when they are killed by Lord, they get salvation, they get liberation. So actually, it's not a punishment or it's not a problem, but it's a correcting them. It's actually Lord's favor to these demons. We see here in this text number 13 and 14 that Lord is always protecting the devotees. How can we practically in our own life, in today, how can we understand Lord's protection? क्या भगवान जब खंबे में से बाहर आते हैं तभी भक्त को बचाते हैं? Nrsimhadev protected Prahlad Maharaj, by coming out of a pillar in the form of half man, half lion. How do we understand that Lord protects us? How can we understand that we are protected by the Lord even today, right now? Even we may not have the form of Nrsimhadev appearing in front of us from the pillar. How can we understand? Anyone would like to mention? Do we feel protected by the Lord?
प्रभु जी हमको तो सुबह भागवत सुनने को मिलता है हर रोज, तो that is protecting us.
Prabhu,
Is that a punishment or protection?
Protection है प्रभु.
Protection.
Loving,
Prabhu,
nice.
we see miracles all the time. Like, there could be many things happen, simple things when we are driving, when we are going. Sometimes our attention is here and there. So we see hands of God in everything, Prabhu, from morning to evening. So there could be hundreds of instances every day. So, like God is protecting us.
Very nice. Anyone else?
Same, Prabhu. The way we are associated now. If not, then we would have been doing some other things, right? Utilizing our energy in some other things rather than reading Srimad Bhagavatam, doing chanting. Because time is there. If time is there, then we will use it somewhere, either in good way or bad way. So if because we have this association, we spend that time in chanting, reading, listening to kirtan, lectures.
Exactly. Yeah, excellent. 100 out of 100 to all of you, those who have answered. Even though we know we have so many limitations, we have so many anarthas, we know in our heart हम कितने शुद्ध भक्त है वो हमको ही पता है प्योर एटलीस्ट आई कैन टेल अबाउट माई सेल्फ मुझे ही पता है कितनी भक्ति है कितनी शुद्धता है कितना प्रेम है भगवान के प्रति मुझे ही पता है I know full of anarthas, full of faults, full of limitations, but in spite of all this conditioning, on top of that, we are fully busy with our responsibilities, commitments, family, work, all other commitments. Heart is full of anarthas, body is full of commitments. On top of that, still we are able to come every morning, have the association of devotees, read Srimad Bhagavatam. Isn't that Lord's protection? ये भगवान की प्रोटेक्शन नहीं है तो ये क्या है? वी आर एबल टू डू अवर भक्ति, हम माला कर पाते हैं, भक्तों का संग कर पाते हैं, सेवा कर पाते हैं. यही तो आशीर्वाद है भगवान का, वही तो प्रोटेक्शन. We can see that Lord is protecting us by allowing us to progress in bhakti, to fulfill all the bhakti, whatever sadhana we are doing, in spite of all the anarthas we have, in spite of all our material desires we have, still Lord is allowing us to do bhakti. And He's giving us the opportunity to associate with devotees. Today, Narsimha Chaturdashi, very auspicious day. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of devotees in the morning. 2 days before there was Ekadashi, we were reading Jayanand Prabhu's disappearance. All this special tithi, and we are all in the morning time. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Lord's protection, that He is allowing us to do bhakti. We shouldn't think that जब भगवान सामने आएंगे, पिल्लर में से आएंगे, तभी हमको बचाएंगे, and then only Lord is protecting. He is letting us to do, having this association. That is also His special protection aspect. And Narsimha Dev's appearance is specifically for this, highlighting, exhibiting the display of the protection of aspect for the devotees. This text number 13 and 14 is exhibiting that, the protection aspect of the Lord. Different incarnation of the Lord have different purposes. Sorry, I know time is up. I will take 3 more minutes because of the Narsimha Chaturdashi, very special. Different incarnations of Lord have different purposes. They exhibit certain kind of mood. For example, Kurma Avatar, if we take a vow, हम दामोदर मंथ में, कार्तिक महीने में हम वाव लेते हैं कि मैं स्वीट नहीं खाऊंगा, या फिर मैं हर रोज 1 राउंड ज्यादा करूंगी, or some kind of vow we take. Who helps us to maintain that vow is that Kurma Avatar. Kurma Avatar helps us to maintain our sadhana, maintain the vows, become steady in our bhakti. And that kind of mood is exhibited by this Kurma Avatar. How is that happening? When, Samudra Manthan was happening. Padma Mataji shared a photo of you last month, I think, of the Samudra Manthan in the group. So when Samudra Manthan was happening, that Mandara mountain was sinking down. So Kurma Avatar came and the mountain becomes stable. So our steadiness or stability in bhakti, that is being awarded by Kurma Avatar. When our sadhana goes down, our chanting, Shravanam, association of devotees is going down, we are able to maintain it by Kurma Avatar. So all different incarnations of the, Vamana Avatar. From Vamana, we know humbling the pride. If there is a pride in the devotee, Vamana Avatar is representing how to be humble. We make sure humble rehte hain. Lord Ram, highest Maryada Purushottam, Lord Ram, highest standard of behavior, proper conduct. He is exhibiting that kind of mood. Varaha Avtara, lifting from the ignorance, jaise Prithvi ko ocean, bottom of the ocean se nikala, in the lifting us from the ignorance to the transcendental knowledge, that is exhibited or displayed by Varaha Avtara. And Krishna, Lord Shri Krishna, in a 2-handed flute form, complete sweet pastimes, relationship, rasas, loving exchanges. So all different incarnations and appearances of the Lord, they have different purposes. And this Narsimha Avatar, Narsimha specially displays the mood of protection to the devotees. All incarnations, भगवान के सारे incarnations, they are full in all potential. ऐसा नहीं है कि दिखाते नहीं है, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि Lord Shri Krishna can't protect because he is exhibiting sweetness, but Narsimha Dev can protect. ऐसा नहीं है. It's like a teacher in the school. इंग्लिश टीचर होता है, इंग्लिश के ग्रामर सिखाता है, दैट डजंट मीन ही डजंट नो 2 + 2 4. केमिस्ट्री टीचर डजंट, ही आल्सो नोस 2 + 2 is 4. दिस इज द बेसिक फाउंडेशन एस्पेक्ट. वो सब टीचर को पता है 2 + 2 4 है. इन द सेम वे ऑल इनकारनेशंस ऑफ द लॉर्ड, दे कैन एग्जिबिट दिस प्रोटेक्शन एस्पेक्ट. डिवोटीज को प्रोटेक्ट करना, वो सारे, नो मैटर व्हाटएवर अपीयरेंसेस, बट Narsimha Dev specifically exhibits, highlights this mood of protection to the devotees. And today we are celebrating that Narsimha Chaturdashi. So all different avatars have different mood, protecting. And we can understand that we are blessed by Narsimha Dev. Narsimha Dev is very merciful unto us. So by understanding that we are having this association of devotees in the morning reading Srimad Bhagavatam. अगर आपको अभी तक realize नहीं हुआ है कि भगवान की ये protection शक्ति हमारे पे है, ask anyone in your work, colleague, neighbors, friends, relatives कि हर रोज सुबह भागवतम में आ सकते हो क्या? And then you will see the answer. Ask anyone. 50 लोगों को पूछ के देखो कि हर रोज सुबह हम भागवतम करते हैं, कैन यू कम? We chant 16 rounds. Would you, इतनी सेवा करनी है. You will understand that how Lord has specific mercy unto us that we are able to this. This is extremely rare, extremely rare. आप देखो कितने लोग कर सकते हैं सुबह सुबह एवरीडे भागवतम by staying in USA or America or Australia, with in spite of all this busy life and all other commitments, we are still able to do it. Narasimhadev has blessed all the devotees, protecting all of us. Narasimhadev ki jai. Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right, we'll stop at 14. We'll start from 15 tomorrow. Any comments?
Prabhuji, thank you so much for pouring your heart out to us. ऐसा लगता है कि जितना भी आप में एनर्जी है उस वक्त you're pouring that out towards us. उनकी mercy भगवान की आपके through is coming to us. And जो वो earlier question था कि जैसे आप जो पूछ रहे थे कि कैसे पता चले, तो ये material world and spiritual world, they are interconnected so much. I give you my example. वो early morning, early dark है, उठा देती है छोटी सी बिल्ली कि भाई come down, get me my food. And this is his mercy, Otherwise, I might sleep in a few minutes. But that's how, through people, through little things, that his mercy is just showered on us. Haribol.
All of you, please shower your mercy onto me. Please pray to Narasimhadev for my bhakti. Anyone else?
प्रभु जी मैं तो जरूर प्रे करूंगा आपके लिए क्योंकि आपकी धोती पकड़ के मेरे को भी आगे जाना है.
Thank you. Other than devotees' prayers, I have no hope. मैं एक महाराज का I won't say the name, but मैं जब महाराज को मिला अभी 3 दिन पहले, and I said, महाराज, can you please pray for me? And महाराज ने बोला, yes, I will pray for you. I felt like dancing, jumping up, 2 hands in the air. अरे महाराज ने pray कर दिया, भगवान तो सुनेंगे ही prayers. I felt so good. Thank you, Anirudh Prabhu, for your prayers. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll start tomorrow. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
कौशल प्रभु
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
everyone.
Krishna. Thank
Oh,
you,
Pooja
Prabhuji.
Vikrani Mataji, thank you for joining
Hare
from
Krishna.
America.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna,
Happy to
Prabhu.
see you.
Happy
Shiva
Nashti
Prabhu, you can
Chaturdashi.
stop recording, Shiva Prabhu, and then we can talk.